Unmute me. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema. Welcome to this afternoon show. I know I don't go usually in the afternoon, but I got a special guest on where it's a little later for him. So we're gonna bring him on in a minute, and we're gonna get going with a cool ranking of our most underrated or not talked about 80s horror films. Just trying to not talk the big three. You know, the big three we talk about all the time. We want to talk about some other horror films for this ranking. So without further ado, let me invite my guest up, Mr. Jack Petrie. Hey Jack, what's going on, buddy?
Hey Jason, thanks for having me on, mate. Good to be here. Looking forward to chatting some horror movies.
Yeah, always. We love talking movies. This is going to be a lot of fun. So please like, subscribe, everyone. If you're watching after the fact, do the same. You know what I mean? Helps the channel out. Jack's information is in the description below. And also, I'd like to clean house here for a bit. Let me just get rid of that right there. I do have memberships available now, guys. If anyone's interested, just go to my main channel page. You'll see a join button, and there's 3 tiers. They only range from $1.50 to $5.99. So you can get free reviews for the year, watch parties, all that stuff. So yeah, you can go to that. I also got Buy Me a Coffee if anyone's interested in that stuff too. We got Mr. Gory Tiger here. He said, "What's up? What's up, Gory Tiger? How you doing, buddy?" So Jack, what have you watched recently?
Well, I just wrapped up, like you, I wrapped up my top 80s horror list. So it has been a massive 80s horror binge over the summer, basically. We were just covering a few movies that I'd seen for the first time. And I've always liked 80s horror. I've seen a lot over my life, but I'm a big rewatcher. So like all my favorites I've seen 10 to
Right.
20 times each, but I was kind of missing a lot out of my 80s horror knowledge. So I've been catching up on a few more of the sort of underrated gems and ones that I've kind of people have pointed out that have been sitting on my watch list for some years now. So I try to watch most of them in time for my 80s horror video. So that's mostly what I've been watching. Not so many new releases these days. I'm a little bit behind, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't really watch much for the 80s horror list. I knew what my list was going to be. So I wanted to watch some other ones like The Dead Zone, and I wanted to watch The Hitcher. I wanted to watch Tenebrae. There's a few others there that I'm missing. Videodrome I haven't seen. So there is a handful, but I said, you know what, this list is what it is for now. And yeah, but now I just watched the original Wolfman yesterday and the original Dracula, both versions, as Brian was in our group chat. Brian Lomax was saying there's a Spanish version, which is better, I will say, because I got a Universal Monsters ranking coming up, so I'm trying to get these done and watch. But I just finished the Wolfman this morning actually,
I
so
need to
it was a
still.
good time.
I've seen so few of the. I've seen a couple of the Universal classic monster movies, but so long ago now. I feel like I need to. I need to watch them again. Really, they're quite hard to get hold of here. They're not as
Oh,
easy to
really?
watch. No. So I don't have a lot of streaming platforms these days. I tend to buy most things like on physical that I can, and they're not the easiest movies to get hold of. And when they are, they're often quite pricey as well. So I really need to buy. You can get
Hmm.
like a lot of these amazing sets that includes like a load of them, which I really need to do. Um, but yeah, I will get around to that at some point because I got shown my uncle. He showed me a load of them years ago because he was like, as a horror fan, you have to see these. And yeah, it's just been so many years now, so I'm due a rewatch of them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have a follower, Heather, horror head Heather. She is. I've been putting these off for a couple years, so she requested it when I put a post out. And I said, yeah, even if I can't get it done by Halloween, it's going to get done because I'm already invested now. So,
It's one of the nice things about like planning a list, though, isn't it? Because it kind of pushes you to watch movies that you might not naturally just sort of throw on.
yeah,
The original Monsters movie, like it's great because you make a natural event of it, and it's like, oh, great, get to kind of go back and look through them all. Whereas with me, like often I'll plan to watch all these movies, then I'll just pick off something that I've seen 100 times before and watch it again.
yeah, I know, right? So, yeah, I've had the box set for a while. And it's I've just I've always watched for Frankenstein's one of my favorites. I doubt anything's gonna top that, but we'll see. Possible. But it has the Invisible Man, it has the Bride of Frankenstein, it has Dracula, Wolfman, the Phantom of the Opera,
Yeah.
and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's like
Okay,
a
yeah, I
box.
have seen that. That one I definitely have seen.
It's a
Creature
box
from the
set of
Black.
8, and it's how fitting because as soon as Frankenstein hits Netflix, my ass is getting my popcorn in my bed, and because I love that story and I'm so excited for that movie, and I'm
Must
hearing
be only it's a couple of
good
weeks away
things.
now, isn't it? It's got to be a couple 2 weeks, is it?
Yeah, I think it's November 7th. It's coming on
Yeah,
Netflix or November 17th. I can't remember the actual because I couldn't find it here in the theater. We didn't have any
I think it's getting
shows.
a very limited run. Like apparently it was here as well, but it's very small scale. It's not sort of a, you could see anywhere. I suspect most people, unless they've gone to a special screener or something, they're
Yeah,
going to be watching that on
and it
Netflix for
doesn't make
sure.
sense because the director is so visual. Like the
Yeah.
sets and everything, it must be phenomenal on the theater. Like,
Absolutely. It kind of feels like a waste to have it like specially filmed in like the ratio and stuff for Netflix. It's like it just seems like why? Just give it a full theatrical. Like his movies have always done pretty well theatrically as well. So it's not like even the name alone of Del Toro,
yeah,
it get people there. But
yeah, yeah, for sure. They're kind of doing revamping all these old classics, which kind of nice. Like, I quite enjoyed the Invisible Man from Lee Winnell, and I
oh,
enjoyed the
fantastic.
Wolfman. I am actually one of the few who liked his version of the Wolfman.
Was that
I didn't
earlier
dig
this
it.
year? Was that
Yeah,
this year?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This year, it wasn't fantastic, but I liked it. I was like, yeah, that was different. It was unique. I enjoyed that. So interested to see this Frankenstein and what they're going to do. Obviously, they're not all connected. These are just different versions
Yeah.
of everything. Which you know what? That's probably better. That's probably better anyway.
I
Just to
think
have
so.
everything disconnected. We don't need a Marvel universe every
I think
franchise.
I
So
think that's it. People, I think, are getting slightly tired of that kind of stuff where everything that starts has to be the beginning of something massive, and it's all going to tie in, and you have to have seen 50 of that and 50 of that to watch this. Like, there's something quite nice about a good independent story, even if it say is a throwback remake or whatever.
right.
There's something just nice about that.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty. I'll I guess I'll let you start off. It's mine are in no particular order, but so feel free. We got 10 movies to talk about in total here, guys. So I'll let Jack take the reins.
Yes, okay. Talking about underrated horror movies. I say we tried to stay away from all the popular ones. I had a few on my list which I worried would be quite popular, but you never know with people. 'Cause some horror fans have seen so much stuff now to come across a true underrated is difficult. But the one film you mentioned a minute ago, which you want to see, which has to be on this list, and that is The Hitcher. The Hitcher. The reason I say it's an underrated horror film as well is it took me an unbelievably long time to come across this movie. Like I've watched a lot of horror all my life, and it really wasn't until I'd sort of started digging a lot deeper into movies and watching reviews online, and all this kind of stuff, that I actually started to hear about The Hitcher. It's not a movie like Elm Street where you're just going to run into it,
Right.
and it's an incredibly strong film, and it kind of gets away from the very over the top and more colourful sort of style of 80s horror. It's a much darker, more kind of it's a little bit surreal. It's quite a quiet movie. The performances are a lot more subtle, so it's got a little bit of a different flavour, I think, to your typical mid 80s type horror movies. But for anyone that doesn't know the story, it's basically it's a psycho hitchhiker type movie. Somebody gets picked up, turns out to be a little bit crazy. It's this young guy doing this kind of road trip where he's taking a car across the state, and he picks up this guy, and it basically turns into complete chaos. And he's being stalked by this guy, and he has to try and find a way to overcome him. And I think the main thing that just makes it work so well, it's you've got Rutger Hauer who is playing the hitchhiker, and most people I'm assuming know him from Blade Runner. Massive
Right.
massive performance in that, and his performance in that is just unreal. It really is so amazing. Um, Kind of brings so much to the character, makes him truly scary and intimidating, and you don't really know what he's about. And that it kind of that's what makes the film so good to me, is that you never really find out why everything is taking place. Like I don't want to spoil too much for you because obviously you haven't seen it yet. But it's quite an ambiguous film. It's one of those that leaves a lot of conversation on the table. There's a lot of interpretations, different interpretations about
Right.
why and how and all this kind of stuff. And I think just yeah, the kind of conversation that comes around from a movie like that, to me, it just makes it a lot more interesting. It's one that I go back to. I love the detail in it, and it's a truly pretty special horror film, and it is tight as well. It's not even a really long movie. It's like 95 minutes. It's really tight as well, and it's yeah, it packs a massive punch. So The Hitch is a must see. Say for you on your list, you have to watch
Yeah,
it.
I do own it. I do. I just haven't watched it yet. I think I have it on VHS and DVD actually. I don't have a Blu-ray. I have a DVD copy, so I'm definitely gonna check it out. I like Rucker Hauer. He's great. So
Amazing,
Gina,
yeah.
what's going on? You don't get to make these afternoon shows very often. Um, what's going on, Gina? I hope you're well. One of my great followers comments on every
Daisy's
video.
kindly accommodating the Brit here tonight, where it's late.
Yeah, I think Gina's from Britain too, if I
Oh, really?
remember
Oh, okay.
correctly, because she's hours ahead of me. So yeah, she's great. All right. Yeah, The Hitcher, definitely I hear everyone recommending that one. All right, my first one is going to be my favorite werewolf film of all time, always has been, is Silver Bullet. This is one I grew up with. Like I was a kid in the 80s. A friend brought it over for like a sleepover. We would have sleepovers, watch horror movies all night. He came to my house and I never seen Silver Bullet, and I was like, we just loved it. I mean, and it's actually one of those movies as a kid, it terrified me. It doesn't now, obviously, but when he shoots that werewolf in the eye with that's what terrified me. And then when he comes back home and he's all covered and the lights are out, and then he's up against he goes up against the wall like this, right? And he's just terrified. Loved it. I like the one kill there where he climbs up to the girl's bedroom. That I remember that being a lot more vicious than it is. Like I remember blood freaking everywhere. But when I watch it now, it's just kind of like wow, that's actually pretty tame compared to what I remember in my head. So the visuals, right? Now it doesn't. Everyone complains about the werewolf, the werebear. It doesn't really bother me because I think he's going for a Jaws effect. Didn't like it, so he hides it, and I think it really works. And it's just a great family story, a brother sister story. Um, Uncle Red, Marty, Jane, all going on this Stephen King story mystery kind of thing, and I just love these. I love his fictional small towns in his films and everything. So I can, I've talked about Silver Bullet at nauseum. It's great. I love it. So there you go.
Got a very distinct style, hasn't it? You know, the Stephen
Yeah.
King stories, like no matter who directs it, you can feel straight away that it's a Stephen King story. That's what I kind of like that. You know, I like that kind of familiar
Yeah.
flavor that his stories kind of have. But no, Silver Bullet is great. And something funny about Silver Bullet, I really don't particularly like Gary Busey normally, but I think in that movie he's fantastic. Like he's really good in that.
Yeah.
There's something of like, 'cause I know he had that accident, didn't he? He had that accident where he got brain
Yeah.
damage or whatever, and he got even more like very
Yeah. He's
enthusiastic, very over the top, and it's usually a bit much. But I think like the relationship with him and the kid, like actually, I'm like, damn, this actually really works. It actually really makes the story
yeah.
quite powerful.
It's almost like a comic book unfolding in front of you.
Yeah,
It's very pulpy, as they say. So
absolutely.
yeah. Gina says I live near the Roman Wall in Northumberland.
I haven't been to Northumberland. That's up in the so quite far north of me, and I'm not actually familiar. I haven't been there before. I don't go north this often anymore.
Right.
I'm in the south of England. I live in London.
Do you live near the Conjuring 2 location? Is
Man,
that
I
all in London?
live literally. If I go in my car now, in 10 minutes, I can be at the Conjuring 2 house.
Oh,
It,
that's I
it's
love the setting in that movie. I think it's now obviously they designed the inside is a set, but they
yeah.
did a good job. But the outside is just as good. Like there's a
And
lot of
it's yeah, I think the house they actually filmed it in is on the same road. I think technically it wasn't the same house when they're filmed, but it's on that road, like the
right.
actual house from the story. And they did genuinely film it on that road. So like if you look out my road here, like the houses, it's literally identical because it's genuinely just down the road from me. It's in North London, and it's just
Right.
yeah, just down the road. So it's quite funny seeing like this major studio movie being filmed in this little part of England that I live. It's just quite weird to
They
see that.
they filmed there's a big mansion around the corner from me. Like an old owned by the ex-GM owner or whatever, called the Robert McLaughlin mansion, and it's like a history kind of mansion, but they have gardens, and they filmed Ready or Not there. 70% of Ready or Not
Oh no way!
outside there is there, and X-Men was filmed there. A few shots in X-Men, and then they filmed It just down the road from me. The 2017 It.
Oh cool.
Um, it was um, it was the outside of Pennywise's house.
Oh,
Just
interesting. Yeah. I mean, obviously
yeah,
that's
so
quite a, yeah. Now I think about those three sets. I'm like in those movies. I'm like, oh, that actually does feel like that would be coming from like quite a similar place.
yeah.
Yeah, like the
So
Ready or Not mansion. Love that. Like I said, I've met here, like in America, when you watch most studio horror movies, I've obviously filmed in the States, or if they're kind of outside, they might go somewhere that's cheaper to film. But you don't really get many in like this part of England. You just that just wouldn't happen. Like The Conjuring 2 is just one of those that's like, oh, that's really cool. It's actually filmed here because you don't normally get that.
yeah, I mean, I think the first one's still scarier, but I don't think it's better. I think the second one's a better film, and I think the setting has a lot to do with it. For some reason I just love it. I love the cold and wetness, and
Yeah.
it just adds to the atmosphere, that dampness and everything like that. So it's a
Non
good stuff.
effect, it really is like that here every day in winter.
Good. I want to move there because I don't like the sun, man. I
Oh,
want
you love it
I,
here.
I'm one of the weirdest. I hate the freaking sun. It just
Oh,
I, I like those overcast days. I don't like the snow, but there's always snow here. I
a
don't
little
mind the
bit
cold.
grey, a little bit cold, grey, and overcast. That is England every day for the next 8 months.
I don't get depressed and stuff like that because of weather. So now my wife, yeah, she wouldn't like it there. I
Would
can
like it,
tell you
no.
that much. All right, what do you got? What do you got next?
Next up, I've got Day of the Dead, George A. Romero's Day of the Dead from '85.
I have seen that.
Reason I have seen that great. Yeah, the reason this one underrated, I've seen Night and Dawn countless times throughout my life. I saw them years ago. I love zombie movies, and back when I used to read reviews on Night and Dawn, it was like IMDb reviews is my thing, and everyone always said like, yeah, Day, shame about Day. It doesn't live up to the original two. So I thought, why watch a worse version of the first two that I already loved? I loved Dawn in particular. So it took me years to check out Day, and also Day of the Dead's another film that here in England is until recently has been very difficult to get hold of. You couldn't
Mm,
stream it, you couldn't buy it, but got a chance to see it recently. This is one I saw earlier this year actually, because I was like on an '80s list. I was like, Day of the Dead has to be one, and I thought it was amazing. I actually think I think it's the best of the three, to be honest.
yeah,
And I think the story matches up. I think the commentary is more interesting in this one between the scientists and the military and the kind of bunkering down and stuff and the kind of conflict that comes up between them. Yeah, it's like a little bit theatrical and over the top and stuff, but and it's a lot of fun. But I actually quite like that commentary that kind of runs through that movie, and I think it has a much bleaker tone to it that kind of suits the world of what's going on. Because like Dawn, especially Dawn in a lot of ways is quite a fun, light-hearted film for like an end of the world zombie film. And that's
yeah,
probably one thing that people quite like about it. But I think when you're talking about like a real apocalyptic movie living in this bunker, uh, Day feels very suitably dark to me. And I love that feeling about it. And I think the one thing that pushes it up another level as well is whatever the problems were with the effects on Dawn, they managed to fix in Day. Because I think if you watch the two now, the effects work in Day is phenomenal. Like it looks amazing. It looks nasty. It looks really like zombies actually eating people alive. It looks grim. It looks painful. And Dawn of the Dead now, especially in modern kind
yeah.
of Blu-ray upscaling of the effects do not look good. I mean, even Tom Savini himself has been like, I don't know what went on with that. So I was surprised by how much Day hit me more watching it now, and I think it's actually the best of the trilogy. I think that is the underrated pick from Romero's zombie films.
I actually like I like Night of the Living Dead. Then I would go Day, then Dawn. for me
Fair.
personally. I'm not the biggest fan of Dawn, although I respect it more than I like it. But Day, I actually liked a little bit more, especially it has one of the best kills I have ever seen in a movie, and I think we all know which one it is. When they rip him apart, I did
The
not.
sergeant, yeah.
Yeah, so I bought the Blu-ray a few years ago, and I'm glad I did. So when I watched it, I had to rewind, like rewind it. Back in the
Locked
'80s,
in the scene.
I backtracked it, no pun intended, and I'm like, did I just see that? Like, and then I go back
Yeah,
again. I'm going, wow, what a great effect for 1985. Like
it's
that they
incredible.
did a really good job.
It's incredible, I'm surprised people don't talk about it more in comparison to Dawn in that way. Because to say the effects on that movie, no matter how much you upscale it for modern, high definition and Blu-ray, it still looks absolutely amazing. Like the work in that, like especially at the end, that final half an hour when everything's kicking off, it looks mad. Like
Yeah,
that stuff, it looks really mad. And when I watch Dawn, I mean, I don't know what your issues are with Dawn specifically, but the effects are really off-putting to me, and I think it looks pretty bad. It looks cheap. It does look cheap. It's a good film. I like the film, but I think
I honestly,
effects-wise,
I gotta rewatch it to be honest, but I just found it dragged a lot for me. And
yeah,
I'm a slow burn person. Like, I mean, I can get through a lot of that stuff, but there's not a lot of interesting stuff going on for me. But honestly, I'd have to rewatch it.
yeah.
All right, Daniel Garcia, welcome to the show, man. Said fun '80s horror night, fun '80s horror, Night of the Demons and Hell Night. Hell Night, yeah, it's okay. Hell Night, Night of the Demons, I actually haven't seen. That's another '80s one.
I've seen Night of the Demons. Night of the Demons is a fun film. It's a low budget movie. It's like a low budget, very fun. It's one of those. If you're expecting like a really good movie, it's not that, but it is a good time. Like it's one of those movies you can kind of enjoy for the flaws of it. It's an exciting movie. It's fun.
Yeah, he comes back with Fright Night is fun. Fright Night was almost on my list here. We were
Oh,
talking
that's
like
good.
10 more 5 more movies. I would have it on here. It's actually my favorite vampire film, but I feel like it is really well liked. It's usually Lost Boys
Yeah.
or Fright Night people are going for. So,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a film like Fright Night, I feel like probably couldn't be considered underrated now, just because it's it's the general like universal consensus on that is that it is good.
Gina says my brother was often watching Day and Dawn. I grew up loving those films. Nice. Daniel says Fade to Black and Anguish deserve more love, along with Dead and Buried and Scarecrows. I haven't seen any of those.
Nor me, nor
Interesting.
me. That's been outside of my watches.
Um, Rhodes Kill was vicious.
Yes, it
Kalel,
was.
how's going on, buddy?
It
Kalel
was.
Kalel Daly says, "Hey everyone." Daniel says Romero did the dark half. Oh, okay. House Part One with Will Cat is spectacular. I do like House. That was on my top 50 list. So I do like House. All right, my next one is a 1982 Canadian slasher film called Visiting Hours, a hospital slasher. Have you seen this one, Jack?
I have not. No,
Okay,
one missing from my list.
you
Not seen
can
it.
watch it free on YouTube. I'll try and send you a link at some point. I'm pretty sure you can watch it free on YouTube. I got the Scream Factory release with Bad Dreams and Visiting Hours. Anyways, it's supposed to take place in Boston, but it's Montreal. It was all filmed in Montreal. So this is more like a very psychological slasher movie, and it's about this woman who's a journalist, and she's fighting for women's rights. So it's very proactive and stuff. And the killer is someone who hates women, but he hates everyone with an opinion. He's kind of a bigot, really. But in this, he's a woman hater, and that pisses him off. He's the janitor at where she works, and he follows her home, tries to kill her, and then he spends the rest of the movie trying to get her in the hospital, breaking into this hospital. And then there's two other women that are kind of like there's the nurse who's looking after her, and then there's some girl that he sexually assaults, he attacks. They're kind of like three final girls. Like it's weird. It's not your typical 80s horror slasher. It doesn't have the kills. It's not a bloody movie. It's a more it's not, but it's not really a slow burn. It's more suspenseful. Great little score. It's very suspenseful. Michael Ironside is the villain here, and he's fantastic in it. Like
He's the man.
he doesn't wear a mask. He's just quiet. He just is, and you see him in his apartment. You follow him a lot in the movie, and I like movies that do that. So I don't want to spoil too much for everyone, but I think Visiting Hours you have to watch. I have done a watch party on it actually, and it was a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend it. Daniel says Michael Ironside is great in Visiting Hours. Yeah,
He is
it's called
fantastic. He's one of
Visiting
those
Hours.
visiting hours. Yeah, he's one of those actors that anything he's in, he kind of makes the film better. Like I don't know if you've seen Scanners from Cronenberg, but it's a goodish movie. I think the movie's good. It's a cool concept. I think the
I have
movie's
seen
all right.
I've seen all of Mike's stuff because he's actually my dad's first cousin. Michael Ironside's he's my second cousin
Oh no
actually.
way!
So yeah, I don't
Oh,
usually say
amazing!
that I don't say that too often on streams,
Oh, that's
um
mad.
but I'm trying to be objective here. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up watching his stuff because my dad and his cousins were always supporting him. So
Oh
he said,
wow.
yeah.
Oh, that's very
So here's
cool. I mean, he
so
is the man. So I can even say independently, he is the man because I love him in movies. To say Scanners for me, I think he just makes that
yeah.
movie way better than it should be. You know, it's just like his performance is so good. It really is so good.
Daniel says The Gate, Mad Men, The Monster Squad, Night of the Creeps, and Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou are good films for Halloween. Yeah, I agree. We'll be talking about one of those on my list for sure. So, what do you got next, Jack?
Oh, well, I was debating whether to change two around in my list. I was still trying to decide, but actually, I'm going to go with the movie that we were talking about just before this, and that is Tenebrae. I'm going to go with Tenebrae because, again, like this is a Dario Argento film. So this is it's an older Italian horror film, and I think just people who know of this movie do like it. But again, if you're used to kind of more modern American horror films, stuff like Tenebrae is something that you probably wouldn't have come across before. But I think it's the big standout of his work. I always compare it a little bit to like a Hitchcock movie, where you've got this like suspense mystery thriller, but it's just like a really violent version of it. It's almost like got more of a sleazy feel to it with the music, and it's a
Hmm.
bit more exploitative with a lot of the elements of it. But if
Well,
you like that kind of thing,
I love Hitchcock, and make no mistake, if Hitchcock was around in the 80s, he would have been making the bloodiest movies you've ever seen.
yeah,
He
yeah,
would have.
it
Like,
literally feels like yeah. If Hitchcock was doing something later like that, that's what this movie feels like. And it's just got some pretty remarkable scenes in it. Like it's a mystery film. It's a serial killer out on the loose, and some of the sequences, I think in particular, just they put you on the edge of your seat like a lot of other slashers from the 80s don't. I think even some of the bigger ones, like there's a particular scene in this kind of this mansion where this person does all this artwork and stuff, and you follow a lot of the killings from the POV. Of the killer and the way it kind of plays out and the way they're chasing people down and stuff, it genuinely is really, really tense. So it's one of those movies you're kind of absolutely gripped as you're watching it. And again, I won't spoil anything for you here because I know this is one on your watch list, Jason. But at the end, the finale scene is pretty explosive, and it has a great climax, I think. And that's usually where Argento's movies kind of fall down a bit for me. Sometimes in the lead up, I think they've got this great atmosphere and kind of dreamlike atmosphere to them and setup, but they don't really know where to go. Whereas I feel like Tenebrae it kind of sticks the landing effectively.
right.
It's a very good movie. It's of all of his again because I'm not a big fan of the director like some people are. Some people really hail him as like one of the masters of horror, and I don't really see that. But the one movie I would say absolutely anybody into 80s horror and slashers must see. It would definitely be Tenebrae.
Yeah, I've only seen Suspiria, and I did like I didn't grow up with it. I watched it a few years ago, and I did like the color palette. I liked
Yeah,
what was going on. Um, kind of got bored with it, but when that witch came out at the end, I was like, "Whoa!" That would have
yeah.
terrified me as a kid. If I would have saw that at 8 years old, that probably would have been very impactful to me.
Yeah, like Suspiria is an interesting one because that's probably if you ask people who are fans of him, that's probably the best. People would say Suspiria is probably the best film that he did, and I felt it. I felt it was underwhelming. Like when I watched it, I went in like, "Wow, I'm about to be blown away by this amazing '70s horror." It's kind of, this European film that really kind of shocked people, and I felt the same. I felt like it was just not quite, didn't quite get there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, whatever. I'll just check out his movies here and where I can. And Tenebrae was one where I watched and was like, oh, actually, this is like half an hour in. I was like, I'm actually really into this. This is really quite good and quite shocking and stuff. And yeah, it's a very good movie.
Daniel says from the 80s, My Bloody Valentine was good. I am really warming up to that one. To me, it was just a sense of slasher the first time I watched it, but I don't know. I keep getting the charm every time I watch it. I get some more. I enjoy it more and more. Um, he comes with when you cover 90s horror, watch Mr. Frost with Jeff Goldblum and The Resurrected with Chris Sarandon. I've never seen any of those. Gareth, what's going on, buddy? Another British friend of mine. Gareth from Video Tasties. He has a huge channel, guys. He's very retro, very 80s, loves it all. So love me some Video Tasties. Nanette Blackwell 6214 says, hello everyone. What's going on? Thank you for joining the channel. Coming out and hanging out with us. Daniel says the Video Dead, Spookies, and Neon Maniacs now have more fans. Never seen any of those either, man. And he says, I like Body Parts with Jeff Fahey and the Unseen. Gareth says, never been a fan of Italian horror. I think
me neither. Me neither.
Yeah, I think you like it or you don't.
You got Argento, and the other big one is Lucio Fulci. I don't know how. Have you seen many of his films?
No, I haven't. But I would like to. Is he the one who did the New York Ripper with the duck?
Yeah.
The quack 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 killer.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen that one. If he does, I've seen his like.
I'm not sure if that's him.
Trilogy. I feel like maybe it was. Maybe that was one of his early. He's done a lot of films. He's done so many, but he had his most famous movies. He did a movie called Zombie, which was like an unofficial sequel. It was like a European unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead. So it was marketed as Zombie 2, even though it's a completely separate story. And then in the 80s, you had The Gates of Hell, which a lot of people talk about. Like you've got City of the Living Dead and House by the Cemetery, and that stuff for me. No, I just don't like it at all. I don't. Yeah. I tried with them as well. I genuinely set the stage, got into the right mood for them, properly immersed myself, and I can't do it. Can't get on board.
That's great. All right, my next one is another one about the killer, and that is Maniac from 1980. I really enjoyed this film. It's very creepy, atmospheric. It's sleazy. You know what I mean? And again, this killer who's just cracking up, and takes the scalps from women and he puts them on these mannequins who he thinks are all real. And this is a killer with some real mama issues, big time. Yeah, Joe Spinell is great in this. I think he wrote it too. I did a whole stream on this movie, guys, if you want to check that out. But they were using like real actresses in the porn industry in this to save money. They were using this is very, very low budget, and that feel of New York, that creepy feeling of New York and everything like that it's pretty great. But it's very macabre. It's very dark and macabre because at the end, this all happens in his head near the end of the movie, where he's talking to his mom and she comes out of the graveyard, and there's something about that ending, man, when all these mannequins, they rip them apart, but it's all in his own head, and it's this I didn't expect the ending. I didn't expect it to go that way. It took out that generic kind of slasher ending and did something really cool with it, almost artsy, if you will. But I really like this one. I just watched the remake, and I don't like it as much. I know a lot of people rave about this remake. I think Elijah Wood was actually quite good in it, but
it's Elijah Wood. That's it. Yeah, Elijah Wood.
They do this. They do this POV with the camera, where it's all in his perspective. But I just think they do it too much through the movie, where you're just disconnecting from the character. But other than that, it was pretty good. It's just I wish they would have used that camera technique just sparingly, but they did it through the whole film pretty much. So
Yeah, it's not. It's nice to see, in the 80s, because I do feel like when you watch a lot of 80s slasher films in particular, a lot of them are watchable for me. Like I like a good slasher, and I don't need it to be high budget or anything. And I quite enjoy most of them, even the more sort of average ones. But you do notice after a while, quite a lot of them are samey. There's quite a few of them that start to follow a particular formula and a setup and the way the twist plays out. So when you see one, it's like I was saying with Tenebrae, really, and like you with Maniac, it's like when one steps outside of those kind of rules and boundaries a little bit, it really intrigues you and kind of pulls you in a little bit more. Because, I mean, like Prom Night is such a good example of a film that I like. Prom Night, I don't mind it, but it's like if you've seen any slasher before, you could write Prom Night. It's like it's very much in fitting with those.
Right.
It's not doing anything new or sort of pulling the rug out from under you by any stretch. So it's quite nice to see other movies like these and kind of find these hidden gems that are actually went in some different directions at the time, and we can kind of appreciate it more now.
For sure. Um, Gina says, I'm trying to find a film called Superstition, aka The Witch, but I can't find a copy. Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that you just can't find. I've had to order
From the
stuff from
80s, and
yep,
yeah, unless they've been picked up, like a lot of
yep.
these companies, like these Blu-ray companies, stuff, pick up these old movies and really clean them up and stuff. But a lot of them are quite hard to find. Like unless Shudder gets hold of it, because Shudder's quite good, they grab hold of the rights of a lot of these movies and clean them up and put them out for us to watch now. But if they're not on there, they're off. A lot of these movies, especially the more unknown ones, like you're always going to find Elm Street and The Thing, but some of this other stuff, like from the early 80s, is quite difficult to find.
Wild horror films, Brain Damage, Basket Case, Frankenhooker, and From Beyond. I saw Frankenhooker as a kid. I remember watching that with a friend of mine, and we got our laughs out of it, but I really haven't seen a whole
From
lot of it.
From Beyond's great. From Beyond is the guy that I can't remember the guy's name. It's the guy that did Reanimator. Is it Stuart Gordon? Stuart
Oh
Gordon.
yeah,
That's his
that's
name.
it. Yeah, Stuart Gordon.
Stuart
Yeah.
Gordon. Yeah, yeah. From Beyond is good. I actually like that. He's very creative. I think they're kind of based on that H.P. Lovecraft kind of artwork and stuff and ideas. And it's a good film. It's yeah, pretty mental.
Danielle says Nomads with Pierce Bronson is a gem. That's another one I haven't seen. I told you I haven't seen a lot of these underrated kind of ones. All right, Jack, what do you got next?
Okay, next up. Again, it's one I was kind of questioning whether this is underrated, but I'm going to go for it. Because I think it is in his filmography. It's a Cronenberg film, and that is Videodrome.
Oh, sweet. I haven't seen
Uh,
it, but
you've not seen it? No. Well, Videodrome, it's again, it's an early 80s one from Cronenberg. And I think it's because he's mostly known for The Fly. Like The Fly obviously was his massive hit film, or the one that's been the most successful, I think, since in terms of
yeah.
horror, especially that's kind of had the biggest legacy. And Videodrome is even for Cronenberg standards, is a very weird film. It's really out there. Like if you don't know the plot of this one, it's basically a guy who works at this like TV broadcasting station, and there's this channel that comes online which is like playing snuff films, and he's like, "What the hell is this? Like, how did this get on air?" And it's him like trying to investigate, finding out how this channel is being aired at his station, and it's like as he like starts to look for it. Oh yeah, James Woods. That's the lead. Yeah, that's the guy that the lead in the film. And as you're kind of following, it's basically him like going crazy, losing his sanity, and the movie is basically like a fever dream. That's the best way I can describe it. Where weird things start to happen, he starts to kind of question what's real, and it's one of those kind of very surrealist kind of films. But in terms of like the effects work and where the story goes and everything, it's an absolute blast of a movie. It's got a darkness about it, and it's got like a social commentary that kind of runs through it. But it's one of those Cronenberg films that's kind of stuck with me. I think more than a number of his other ones that I've seen. I think after The Fly, The Fly is still my favorite, but I think aside from The Fly, for anyone who likes Cronenberg style, Videodrome is definitely the one to watch. And it's yeah, great performance with James Woods as well. So yeah, top notch Cronenberg. That's like him on his hot streak in the 80s. Made a load of good stuff, and this was one of them.
Excellent. I'm just going to there you go. There's Jack's YouTube channel in the chat, guys. You want to go subscribe to him and stuff?
Thank you very much. Yes, I
Um,
do like movie X. I do mainly horror. I would say it's mainly horror, but I do a little bit of everything. It's kind of a mix.
like I kind of I've done comedy, action, and horror, sci-fi, so I kind of all over the place. But it's October, so I typically devote October to horror
Go pure
completely.
horror.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Contact is a dark film for kids. If you watch the European cut from Roland Emmerich, Contact, Making Contact. Sorry, I've never seen that. I never heard of that
I've
one.
never heard of that. Never heard of that.
All
I'm not
right,
that big on Roland Emmerich, I must say. So
either am I. I like Stargate. I like Universal Soldier.
I like Universal Soldier. Universal Soldier's
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, but um, oh,
I can do Independence Day as
already
well.
subbed. Gina said, awesome. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Jack
very
does
nice.
great stuff
Thank you.
over there. All right, my next one is one from a kid I've always loved. I love it as an adult. Maybe I got nostalgia glasses on way too much, but Night of the Creeps, I love. I love this flick. I think this is Tom Atkins' best movie, his best character anyway. And I like the blend of comedy, horror, uh, slasher, zombies, it kind of mixing with. There's a slasher element to this with the guy with the axe and everything, and that backstory, and then there's this zombie. It's kind of a zombie film. It turns into a zombie film, um, and it just goes batshit crazy. It's fun. It's got one-liners. Yeah. It's been centering on this cop and this kid. And the only thing about Night of the Creeps that I criticize really is I think the final girl, what the girl he kind of likes, the final girl in it is Cynthia, that is it.
Cynthia,
She
yeah.
comes up, she's supposed to be this alpha female. She's in charge of all these girls. She's the queen, but she's very mousy. So I think a more alpha female would have been better in that role. Like
Yeah, she's not a big personality, is she, really, in the film?
no,
Compared
no,
to like
no.
other, yeah.
And that would have made him, he got the alpha girl. He like this little dweeb, this kid got the alpha girl. I just think she should have been more like almost like the way when Daniel Harris gets really aggressive and she's like that. She's got that alpha female
Yeah,
kind of
she's a bit of
character.
a force, and you remember her, yeah.
You
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
exactly. I think that's what that movie needed for that character. But I like this movie. This movie is just a blast, man. Like I just think it's so fun.
I like it. I like it. Not as much as you do, but I do like it. I think it's a fun. I actually do agree that it's Tom Atkins' best role. I think he's really good. He actually kind of makes the film. Really,
He does.
he's really charismatic in this one. Very fun. He's got a great presence on screen. I think he's great. He is very enjoyable. Because the first thing I'd seen him in was one of the early, the Halloween anthology film, just Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
I that was the first thing I saw him with, and I didn't really like him that much. And in Night of the Creeps, I was like, oh, okay, he's great. Really enjoyed that, and that some of the effects and stuff are good. Yeah, the problem with me as well is that it's not just the girl, but the guy that she's with as well. The mate, that
There,
one of the friend. I love the other friend who kind of goes away earlier on. But there's the other guy. I'm not a big fan of him. He doesn't really feel like a great character to follow.
yeah.
I don't know. He's as you say, like maybe
Yeah.
that's the girl. I'm like, how have you got this girl?
I like when Tom Atkins scares the shit out of him with the story. He goes,
Yeah, yeah.
so I got
Just
my
hanging out in
shotgun.
the.
And he's like, is there a point to all this?
He said, "Why are you telling me this?" Yeah. And he just starts his story, and he acts really aggressive. And he's like, "So why are you telling me this? What?"
And it's just like
It's so
he's
funny.
just like so your girl you found someone scaring your girl or whatever. Mine was all chopped up on the side. I found her in the woods and on the road. And it's just like this, you're terrified. You're scaring the piss out of this kid.
It's so good.
I
It's
just
so
love the
good.
camera work and the tension in it. It's like this.
It's a great scene.
Tom Atkins is so good at telling stories. Like it's
Yeah, he is. That's the thing. I think that's why the movie kind of like shines at certain moments. There's like scenes of it that I think,
yeah,
oh, that's so good. Like it really
yeah,
works. And there's other bits that I'm not as big on. Also, I can see Daniel in the chat, Daniel Garcia saying, I prefer the spaceship ending. I didn't
yeah,
know there were two endings because this is the ending that I have seen. The final shot where they're looking out over the cemetery and you've got
No,
The
that's the
spaceship.
added. That's not the theatrical ending.
Oh, is it not? Oh, I've
It
seen this
ends with
version then.
Cynthia going down to the dog. The dog
Yeah.
shows up and it spits one of the slugs into her, and it
Oh,
ends. Yeah, and it ends. Yeah,
interesting. Okay. Yeah, I know. I've seen this. I've seen the spaceship one.
yeah. It's pretty wet. It's pretty crazy, the spaceship ending, and of
Yeah.
course, thrill me. Yeah, yeah.
So
He's so
good.
good in that movie. He's such a great cop. Such a
Yeah,
great
he
cop
makes
in
the
it.
film. I think he is the kind of the heartbeat of the film. Really, he's really great. I didn't
And
expect that ending where he kind of goes out, in a blaze of glory. It kind of makes for a great finale. But I didn't
yeah,
expect that.
for sure.
Love it.
So good. Yeah. So yeah, Night of the Creeps, man. Fantastic stuff.
Good stuff. All right, shall I give you my number? Is it five? Am I on five already?
Yep, we're there.
Do you know what? Some people might say not sure about this being called underrated, but amongst his filmography, this is one of the best, and that is Christine from John Carpenter. Christine, going back to a good old Stephen King story, but Halloween and The Thing, they're the two big movies that most horror anybody who's a fan of horror knows those two movies. But The Thing is my favorite, but my second favorite is Christine because I think the thing I love about Christine is when you think about the premise of this film, you're like, this should not work. Like the
Yeah.
concept of an evil car in the 80s, how are you like, a demonically possessed car or whatever. It's like, how do you make that interesting? How
Well,
do you make that
they focus
gripping?
on character, right? You focus you get
Absolutely.
you focus on the characters and the car works after that.
The, Absolutely. And I think the way it's done, it's so cleverly done. I put off watching the movie because I thought the premise just sounded silly, and I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know. And I love the movie, and I think it's not just because of that kind of unique concept that John Carpenter managed to get working, but I like I like with the lead character the kind of story arc that he goes on because normally, you've got this character who maybe starts to get sucked in by the darkness, and it's kind of their arc is them pushing to overcome that. And this story, he's just like, no, life's better, man. Just embrace it. Just embrace the darkness and go full on into this and kind of just accept that this is where I'm going. And like, it's quite
Yeah.
dark, but it's actually very unique. It's a very unique film. And I think the effects work in it is just absolutely masterful. I think the direction, like this came straight after The Thing. Like obviously John Carpenter was just on like an absolute hot streak when he at this point.
Right.
Like so many good movies in a row, and I just think Christine is an
Well,
absolute banger.
I think looking back at it, we can say that, but at the time, he wasn't really striking with the Hollywood. Like
No, true.
the thing was supposed to be. I think he really thought that was going to be this. It was just going to take off, right? Now it
Yeah,
did over years and years and
over time,
years,
yeah.
but and Christine, he needed to work. He just says, "Oh, I gotta go on to the next one." So
Quite mad, really, isn't it? I mean, it obviously goes to show that people in the early 80s just were like not primed for that kind of story. Do you know what I mean? Just like
no,
it's kind of what you're about. I guess if you, because like these days we've seen so much over so many decades and so many different things, like nothing can really shock you or surprise you or go in a direction that would completely throw you off. But I think back then, like there were movies that could come out like with that like weird, dark, ambiguous endings and all this kind of stuff. It's like,
take
oh, what's this?
take a look at the substance. Let's say the substance story was created for early 80s. Would have
Yeah,
bombed. I'm
yeah,
telling you right now.
absolutely,
There,
absolutely.
right, and I'm not a big fan of it to begin with. I don't like it as much as other people do, but it's primed for the right audience now.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I
You're
think.
absolutely right, though. If that had come out in the early in 82, people would have said, "What the hell is this joke of a film?" They wouldn't have got it. They wouldn't have liked it. They wouldn't have liked because it's just again like movies back then. There were obviously a lot of amazing movies, but especially in horror, they were, even if they were not safe and they were good films, they still sort of fit into a general expectation, I'm guessing, that the audience would have. And the
Yeah,
thing does kind of step away from that. It does step away from that. And it's kind of interesting now watching back old reviews of that, like the paper reviews and Ebert and stuff, because it's like, obviously later on you kind of, I mean, it's like The Shining, even the original Shining, I think critics were not really sure about that film when it first came out. I mean, even Stephen King himself didn't like it. There was
yeah,
like everyone came out and we're like, not sure about this. And then years later, we watch it now. kind of in the times we are and think, wow, this is incredible. Um,
Yeah.
but
It was
John
one of the
Carpenter's skills were on form for directing. His directing skills were on form, and I think that's why the Thing and Christine just make the two together. When you watch them, you're like, damn, just like such good films. Like the way they're put together, they're tight, they're interesting, they're exciting, and they just work incredibly well.
I heard John Carpenter in an interview. I don't know when it was though, but he said, was there a project that you would have always liked to have done but never got to do?" He's like, I don't know, maybe Dracula, but Dracula was done to death. That's one of the reasons. But he would have loved to done a Dracula, and I'm thinking Carpenter doing Dracula. That just I would have loved to seen that. Honestly,
Yeah.
loved to seen that.
You think when he
Yeah,
was at his best, there's so many great stories he probably could have tackled and made them really his own. I mean, I love the kind of style that he did though. Like even watching, like, I don't love. I mean, I love John Carpenter. I don't love all of his movies though. Like there's some that I think are okay that don't really work for me, but I love that they exist because I just love how unique they are. Like Prince of Darkness is a great example of that, where it's like I love watching that film because I think it genuinely does feel quite unique, in terms of its
right.
atmosphere and the story and the way. And he was the man to tackle that at the time. He was the guy to direct that and capture the right atmosphere. So I love that those movies are there, even though I don't love all of them. But in the '80s, no doubt, he made a lot of cracking stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love well, of course, I love Carpenter. Actually, for me, it's not a horror film, but Starman is so underrated. That's top 5 Carpenter for me. I love Starman so
I haven't
much.
actually seen Starman. That's one of the few films of his I haven't seen.
Should definitely check it out. Um, oh, my good buddy Nick is here from the Movie Rankers. Up, guys? Love me the '80s. So many underrated gems that don't get the love. Not being part of the big three, of course. For sure, we love our big three, Nick. But I mean, there's so much out there to watch. His movie Vampires is good, but not Dracula style, of course. No, but he had a good villain vampire in that one. I like that one. I know it's not for everyone that one, but I enjoyed it. All right. My pick is a popular, I would say, sequel for most people, but I still feel like this doesn't get talked about enough, and that is Psycho 2, everyone,
Oh yeah.
on VHS. This is my favorite poster, by the way, too. 80s poster. Just because I love that house so much. But 22 years later, and Norman Bates is coming home. So I love this. This is a movie that they take Psycho and go, do we really need a sequel? No, but they make their own film out of it. They don't they honor Psycho. They don't, they honor the material, but they made their own film. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Norman Bates comes home. He's well. He's ready to get back on with his life, and I don't know why they would send him back home though, where all this damage happened in the first place. But
The same.
whatever, have you?
Yeah, he'll be
So,
all right. Just get him a local job, he'll be fine.
yep. And but then they start pushing him. This is like the Vera Miles and the daughter. They push him into madness again, not realizing that you don't realize the brain you're dealing with. Like, and just the way they just slow burn, and you get the kills in between, but it's kind of like, wow, they're making Norman crack again, and then we end up inserting this woman who was his mother. They get rid of it in part 3, so they what do you call it? They kind of ignore what happened in part 2, and part 3 it is his mother again, like his mother from
Right.
1960. So I don't know if you've seen Cycle 3, Jack, but
I actually haven't yet. I'm planning to watch it now because I like two so much, and I have heard that three is actually quite interesting. So I am going to
yeah,
watch it.
it's fun. It's a fun slasher movie, but be prepared. They go back to the Mrs. Spool character. Um, they reset back to
Right, right.
because Anthony Perkins directed this, the third
I
one.
did know that actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's in it. He's in it still as the main role, isn't he? He's
Oh
still
yes, yes, yes.
plays it
He's
and
in
he's directing it. Yeah.
and he's in the fourth one too, and that
Oh
was
really?
directed by Mick Garris. And I kind of like that one too. There's actually a through line. You actually watch Psycho 1 to 4. He has an arc, and I think that's why it should be talked about a lot more.
It was
But
four. Did four come out? Did four come out in the '80s? Because I know he died in the early
nine,
'90s, didn't he?
1990. He was really sick
Oh,
when he was filming that one.
oh, was he? Oh,
Um,
he's already sick, was he? Yeah.
yeah, so Psycho 4 is feels it might have been made for TV, Psycho 4. I'm not sure, but I've always liked it. Olivia Hussey is the mother, plays Norman's
Oh, yeah, yeah,
mother in it from Black Christmas.
Black Christmas.
And
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah,
and she's great.
sorority.
She's great in it. Now,
Yeah, yeah, she's great.
it's probably my least favorite, but it's still a fairly good movie, I find. But Psycho 2, man, I won't argue. I won't argue with anyone who says that they like this over the original, even though I think the original is my favorite horror film of all time. It's a masterpiece to me, but this hit number 9 on my 80s list. So I absolutely love Psycho 2. I think it's just great. He's got a great performance in it as well. I think everyone's good in it, really. And just be careful of the mind you're pushing, because it at the end there, they all freaking end up getting killed, and there he is, crazy again. And then when he hits the old woman on the shovel, and he
Yeah.
stands out with the clouds coming
Oh,
in, it's like, oh man, Norman's returned.
I think
So
it's
good.
amazing. I think it works so well as well because if you're following a film from the perspective of what really is the villain, you have to find a way to make them, captivating, and you have to be empathetic towards them in some way. And I think they do a great job of that in Psycho 2. I think that's what makes it so good because when he first comes back in, when he first comes back home and he's working and he's connecting with the girl there, it's like he's such a soft and gentle character, isn't he? And he's really
Yeah,
likable. So he's it's the fact that he's even aware of his own problems, that he's like fighting against it. He's like, I have to acknowledge that this thing could come back, but
yeah,
he's actually making an effort to kind of suppress it. And you feel really bad for him and you really like the guys. I think that's what makes it kind of such a tragic story. Like how it ends for him and everyone else, the whole thing feels very tragic to me as a story. And it's like, I think that's the only way it could work. I like that they don't treat it as just an out and out horror movie where you get there, he's this evil guy, and it's just scare after scare. It's like it's a lot of character development, really
yeah,
understanding who he is and the battle that he really has. That even though he is absolutely insane, you feel for
yeah.
him, and you kind of don't want this to happen
Well,
to him
let's
and
be honest.
himself.
In the real world, he'd be never let out again.
No, like
I,
I mean, that's the one thing with Psycho 2. I mean, I like you, I adore the film, but I think there's obviously some things you have to overlook and be like, yeah, like would that happen? Like even the thing with the mom and the girl, and like they're there purely to try and send him crazy again. It's like you have to accept a few things, don't you? That it's just like, okay, that's the
yeah,
story. He's been sent home. The sheriff's keeping the kind of one eye open on him, and yeah, that's your story. But from that point, I think it's a wonderful
yeah. I don't think
sequel.
he would ever see outside of an institution ever again in the
No,
real
like just
world.
back home, like normal. Yeah, yeah, off you go,
Yeah,
man.
just go home. 22 years later,
Yeah,
this because the way they ended the first movie, it's like he's the mother took completely over. So, obviously they got his mind, working and everything. But he start to hallucinate as soon as he gets there.
yeah. I mean, doesn't
Yeah,
like quite early on a guy dies, and the police are like, I wouldn't worry about it. Can't prove anything. It's like the guy's only been home for a week. Someone's already dead.
now, mind you,
And
they
they,
were messing with him like in the window
and
and all
yeah,
that kind of stuff. But and you notice that you actually see the living space of the house more. You see a lot in
yeah,
the kitchen in this one, and
yeah.
that
Real
you never
feel for like
saw.
what the house is like internally. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I mean, that's man. I wish I'd go to this house, man. That'd be so fun. Get
It just
pictures
looks
taken.
amazing where it sits up on those steps as well, and the way it kind of like the sun as it's going
Always,
down
yeah.
over there.
It's
It just
very
looks amazing. Yeah, creepy
it's
as hell.
looking at you, and I said my Psycho review. If you go watch it, I talk about how the house is reflecting his consciousness. So the top floor, the middle floor, and the basement's his subconscious, where he like keeps his dark secrets. The middle floor is Norman, where he does all his living, and the top floor is, that's where Mother is. That's where that part of his brain is. Like the house
Oh,
is
interesting.
almost
I never clocked
yeah.
that before. I need to watch
So
your analysis of that.
yeah, it's kind of a metaphor for his mind, what's going on in his mind, which
Yeah.
is pretty interesting. The whole movie, the first Psycho, there's so many interesting things that you could pull apart and go, "Wow, this is such a layered script."
Yeah.
It's everything that's happening with it, but yeah, Psycho 2, great, man. I absolutely love it.
It's a fantastic movie. No, I totally agree. And I think it's part of it because it's such a big surprise, isn't it? It's like I've seen Psycho a number of times throughout my life, and I know it's a great movie. You know, it's one of the historical top movies of horror. It's Alfred Hitchcock. It's been studied to death. Like it's probably like one of the film school go-tos, isn't it? Really, of like film technique and all of this. So like everyone knows Psycho, and you don't expect that like a sequel, what, 20 odd, 25, yeah, nearly 25 years on. You think in the 80s, oh God, like don't go there, don't do it, and you watch it and you're like straight away in the first 10 minutes I'm like, this is actually good, this is actually interesting, I'm really into this. And I actually think they're difficult to say. I mean, in terms of what I'd watch, they're probably together, to be honest. I'm quite torn on them. I really love both of them.
Yeah, I actually will be reviewing Psycho 2 soon because I just did the first one, so I figured I'm just gonna do the rest of them.
Great.
But I love the first one so much. I love the character. I just love the franchise. Even Psycho 3, it's a bit sleazy. It's playing into more of the 80s slasher vibe, but it's still a decent Psycho movie. Like Anthony Perkins is still good in it. There's still a little bit of character development. There's some good cinematography. Um, like as a franchise, I just don't. Yeah, it's one of the best. It's one of the best where it doesn't go off the rails ever. Like it's kind
That's
of like
kind
that
of
with
rare
Evil
for an
Dead.
80s. It's rare for an 80s because a lot of
Yeah,
80s franchises, they go down. They go downhill
yeah.
fast.
Even Evil Dead, what a consistent franchise when you think about
Yeah,
it. Like,
totally,
yeah.
totally.
Whereas like the big three, they've all gone off the rails at one point or the other.
I
So
mean, they're like, yeah, as you say, there. When you think about sequels going downhill, like from the 80s, you just think of that, like the studios that made those films, like very unstable studios, just like, we're going to have a sequel. We don't care what it means to have one. We're having a sequel. Love
for
it.
sure,
Should we do a
for
couple? We got
sure.
any honourable mentions since we're doing? I don't know how you are for time, but I was saying we could have a couple of honourable
Yeah,
mentions in there.
I got some time. You can do some honorable mentions for sure.
I'm gonna get on my letterbox here as well because I did have a list of all my 80s horror, so I can if there's anything else underrated that I put in there, I can get that up. So what we got. Have you got any more on your as an honourable mentions list?
Oh yeah, I'll do the same. I'll pull up my letterbox on my phone here.
Okay, the first I'll tell you the first one that I did have on my list, which I was going to talk about, which is I do think is an underrated one because it did not do as well as Friday the 13th, which was probably its counterpart for the time. But that is The Burning.
Right? Yeah.
The Burning, I think, is for a camp. I mean, it's an old school camp slasher film, and it's damn good. It really is. It's really good. Like I think it somehow got forgotten alongside Friday the 13th. There was obviously something just a little bit more iconic that came from Friday the 13th. So it kind of probably didn't have the same legacy. It didn't kind of spawn sequels and all this kind of stuff. But I think from like an atmosphere and a directing standpoint, if you're going to do a camp slasher film, I think The Burning is actually really good. Like it's got good acting, it's got a great atmosphere, and I think there's some genuinely shocking moments in it as well. Like there's some actual shock in it, some things that happen that when I first saw it didn't know were coming, and it was pretty surprising. Love that movie.
Yeah, I just find it. I do like it. I like how there's all these kids in it, and you and all that. I just find them to be douchebags. I find the guys to be really sleazy, and
Yeah,
like, I mean,
yeah.
like
Oh,
you're on the
that
girl.
was the 80s way, wasn't it? That is
Yeah,
the,
you can tell the Weinsteins wrote this. That's
yeah,
Harvey
yeah,
Weinstein
yeah.
wrote this movie, and I'm like, you're
Oh, it
on the
doesn't look
girl's
good
side
now.
through the whole movie. Like none of these guys have any redeeming qualities to me, except for the guy who's in charge of the boys. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he was pretty good, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty good. I think the raft kill, that was pretty cool. It
Yeah,
just
that is cool.
when I look
Gruesome.
back at it now, though, I just think he should have came up quicker. It has this
A
like
bit slow, like.
um But
I love
yeah,
that.
it's
I mean,
it,
when I saw it, I think I've just seen I've seen a lot of say of these kind of slasher films, and The Burning just stood out a little bit. I was like, oh, this has got a little bit more something to it. I thought, just atmosphere wise, I thought it created something quite good, and like the
yep,
kills are so ferocious.
yep,
Like how they actually look, they're genuinely like, oh God, like
yeah, they're
wow.
pretty good. Gina says the Burning script was actually written in '79, but wasn't released until '81 because of finance, from what
Oh,
I've heard.
interesting,
Well, there
yeah.
you go. It's whoever gets to the races first, right?
There you go. That's the
And
thing. And
Friday,
these studios at the time, man, they were unstable, weren't they? Probably had no idea of when the film was going to come out, when post production rather was going to be finished up. Probably
yeah.
all sorts of things going on that made it very difficult to get these things fully greenlit and moved through the system, if they did
Um,
at all.
but I'm pretty sure. For me, I still think Friday the 13th is the best camp slasher. It's I know there's not a lot of fans of the original, but there's just something about that movie I just really like. I just really like the atmosphere and everything going on with it, and
Yeah,
obviously they could have handled that who done it a lot better. Hopefully, the show fixes a lot of things of that movie
yeah,
that's coming out. But they just wrapped filming actually on the Crystal Lake series, so I think it's going to be a complete reimagining. But I just hope it's good. But
it's
anyway,
amazing they managed to get that done. Because haven't they had they're in
yeah,
that court battle, aren't they? Isn't it the writer? Is it the person who owns the
yeah,
Jason, or like the franchise as a whole? And then there's the guy who owns the first film, but it doesn't have Jason, so it's like
yeah. So
there's
they
all
have
kinds of
Jason.
weird legal
They
issues.
have Jason in this, but they're allowed to show. Um, I think they're allowed to do what they want on TV. They
But they're
don't. They're
not
not
allowed to call
allowed.
it Friday the 13th, though, are they? They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to reference the
Yeah, yeah.
title.
That's why it's called Crystal Lake, I think.
Crystal Lake, yeah.
Right?
They
They're just
can't use
getting
the
they're
title,
just
yeah.
maneuvering around legal shit.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean,
Right?
why can't these old guys just let it go? It's like, guys, like you've had your time, you've made your money, you've made your movies. Like, let
I don't.
somebody else take it and work on it from now. Like, stop
I don't
messing
know.
about. 10 years in the court system.
I don't know. I guess you know what. I'll talk Cujo. Cujo is one of those films that I really like. I've always liked. This is one of those ones I watched with my mom when I was probably way too young, and I was napping or something like that. Like I fell asleep, and I woke up near the end of the movie, and this is where Dee Wallace has to get her kid out of the car, and she takes a gun and she smashes the window of the car. And I just remember being wow. And we always had animals, we always had dogs, we always had cats. So man's best friend turning on you is something quite horrific. And animals have had rabies before, so this is not out of the. This is something that could really happen to you. And as Dee Wallace has always said, it, real horror is what could really happen to you, and this could have happened. No cell phones, so it's easy to be stranded. Your car breaks down, and this wild rabid animal is after you. It hinges on the third act. But the third act's quite long. It's like almost 40 minutes, I would think. Maybe not that long, but it's quite the whole dog part of the movie where she's being attacked is quite long.
Is that
And
where she's in the
yeah,
car, right? She's where she's in the
yeah,
car.
yeah, she's in the car,
I
her and her
It's the
son.
thing with Cujo. It's weird. I've seen so many sequences from the film, and I have seen that scene, but I don't think I've ever actually sat and watched the whole movie as one. But weirdly, obviously, because it's been talked about loads, I have actually seen scenes from it, and that one from that I do remember the scene from the car. I have actually seen that.
Well, and if you it depends if you like slow burns or not. It takes like it can't just be about a dog, right? And so they flesh out the family and this little affair that's going on, and
Yeah.
so to give you more tension, there's a lot more. So there's tension throughout the film, but and if you're an animal lover, you probably won't like it. Yeah.
Well, there's things well because I
Yep.
didn't grow. I don't have dogs. I haven't really grown up with them, so probably yeah. But I say it's likely to have like a bigger effect on somebody who's kind of known their dog and couldn't imagine anything worse than it turning on them, or
And
you know.
Gina says I've seen Cujo once and won't again. She's the animal lover, so
Yeah,
um, but yeah, it's a great performance too. I mean, Dee just goes through hell in this movie, and they use like 8 or 9 dogs, and they put all this stuff on them to to lick off their faces and stuff like that. They had to make this mixture,
yeah, yeah.
and and they even used a Rottweiler at one point.
For the more
They even
aggressive
had a
scenes in this,
Yep,
because
they
obviously
even had a
the actual dog Hugo is like quite a friendly type of
yeah,
breed, isn't it?
yeah, and they actually had a guy in a dog suit for one shot,
Oh wow,
and you don't even notice it. It's just one where the dog comes in, hits his head on the car. It's actually
yeah,
a guy, a man's head, but the way they shot it, like, you don't really notice it. Even
love the
now, it's
80s. Love the
yeah,
80s. So
yeah,
it's a bit like when you look at Child's Play, like how they do it. It's like animatronics, and some scenes are actually of a person in a suit. It's quite like just for
yeah,
little cuts and stuff, just to help with like continuity of certain things. It's like
yeah,
that's what you got to do. That's what I love about the 80s, man. Like that's what I love about 80s horror. Like they had to make things work some way or another, and it's like it
yeah.
doesn't matter what we're gonna do, even if we have to show it quickly and low lighting, we're gonna make this scene work somehow. And I love that. I love that. I'm just seeing if I had any other movie. Oh, I've got one more movie I want to mention. I have one more movie, which is an interesting one. I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen a film called The Possession from
No, I haven't.
1961?
I've been
Right.
hearing a lot of people talk about it though.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's I don't absolutely love it. I don't think it's like some people think it's a masterpiece. It's a weird, it's a very unusual film, but it's very interesting. It's one of those that's kind of stuck with me. It's basically about this couple who are in this marriage, and it's on the way out. Basically, it's starting to break down, and it's basically told with the background of this kind of like almost supernatural horror story where there's something wrong with the wife, and she's going off at night and doing something in this abandoned place, and it's basically their marriage going completely off the rails with this kind of horror backdrop. And it's a pretty wild film, and it's like got that very surrealist kind of atmosphere to it, and it's got some genuinely shocking scenes in it. It's quite a painful one to watch, and at first when I watched it, I wasn't sure what it's one of those movies where you get to the end and you're not really sure how you feel about it because it's very weird. It's a foreign director. I can't remember where the director's from. I can't remember what nationality he is, but it's an English speaking film, but it's not I can't think what the director's name is. But yeah, it's a very very
oh,
interesting film. It's
and
kind of
Zawoski and Andrzej Zawoski.
oh yeah, yeah, that's him. Yeah, and I'm not that familiar with his work in general. I kind of watched this because I'd heard a few people saying about it, but it's a movie that I would say for any horror fan, it's definitely worth watching because one of those that's kind of been stuck in my mind ever since. It's Sam Neill in the lead, too, and it's a very bizarre and unusual experience. But it's a good film and it is genuinely quite scary. I think there's some elements to it that are deeply unsettling. And it's a movie that I'm definitely going to go back to again. That might be one actually that people aren't that familiar with. 'Cause I don't know if it had a theatrical run back in the day or how big it was, but I only discovered it maybe a year or so ago, and it's great, really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything he's done. He
Yeah, they're
died in
not. It's
2016, so
oh, okay. It's not like most of the bigger stuff from the 80s. It's quite a different style to the kind of the type of horror that was more like commercially successful through the 80s. So maybe it didn't get talked about a lot of the time. But like here in London, there's an old cinema we have, and they're about to do a run of Possession. I don't know if it's for its
oh,
45th anniversary, I guess, but they're bringing it in for a short time and playing it on film. So they've cleaned up all the film, and they're gonna play it on film for like a few select nights. So it's obviously starting to get awareness around it again, and people are talking about it. So it's probably likely people will come across it a bit more now. But it's worth seeing, definitely worth seeing. The Possession, that's what it's called, Possession. The Possession or Possession? Is it the? I
hmm,
feel like no, it's just Possession. Yeah, just Possession. Very
yeah,
good.
yeah. It says Possession. 7.2 out of 10 on IMBD. So
It's good. It's good. But again, it's one like The Hitcher where it's not one you're going to bump into. It's one of those horror movies where you have to kind of really seek it out to find it. Um, there's a load of movies you will just bump into if you're a fan. Like someone was saying earlier in the chat, I could see like there is lots of great stuff outside of the big three, and that's absolutely true. But
yeah,
I think it's great that people talk about the big three because that's usually like the gateway into older horror now. 'Cause, I mean, those movies.
yeah,
I mean, the 80s. We're talking about movies that are over 40 years old now. And like you're gonna watch Halloween, Elm Street, Friday the 13th. They're like the accessible older horror movies. And I think if you watch those and you like what you see, that's where you start to get curious about other movies that came out at that time. So it's quite nice. Whereas you're not going to be able to show people some of the really quirky stuff and get them straight into it. It's almost like you need to
Mm.
ease in with some of the more,
Yeah,
watchable stuff early on.
yeah, like Jason Lives was my gateway to horror, really. I would
Yeah,
say. I watched Gremlins at a young age. I watched Cujo at a young age.
yeah,
I watched a lot at a young age, but I seem to remember Jason Lives where that just impacted me the most.
yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I want to watch every horror film I can get my hands onto now. So
That's the thing, because I guess you grew up through the 80s, I guess, so you kind
yeah,
of this was your start to horror, this was your introduction. So I kind
yeah,
of because I grew up really in a different era of horror, really, where horror was very different. So like the 80s was like I say discover, I didn't go back to it till a long time later. Like when I was an early teenager, I watched Elm Street. As probably a lot of people my age did. The first 80s horror film I saw was Nightmare on Elm Street. And then I
yeah.
saw
See,
Scream and all that. And that's how I kind of got into the 80s, and then The Shining, which is my
yeah.
favorite.
I can't. It's weird. I watched Dream Warriors. That was my first Freddy movie.
Yeah,
Like when it come out in '87, and then I went back and watched the original. Dream Warriors made me go back and watch the original, and I
yeah,
love
yeah.
the original. And then my buddy's favorite was number two. He really liked number
Yeah.
two a lot, and
Well,
so
I
I
kind
didn't.
of get
I
that. I kind of get it, honestly. It's a weird, good film.
it's I didn't like number two when I was like a kid. I just thought it was what the hell is he coming into the real world? What's going on here? Like there's and I but I've really grown to love it. Number two,
There's some the strangeness of that film. It's got a charm about it, hasn't it? It's like it's very like there's so many decisions in that movie where you're like, I wonder why they thought that was the thing to do there. But now
yeah,
it's done, and it's the movie we have, and it's kind of interesting. Like have you seen the Never Sleep Again documentary?
yeah.
Yeah, and I thought the one for two was probably the section on two was probably one of the most fascinating. Really, I thought that was very interesting
I don't
how
the
it
thing I
came
don't
about.
I love Nightmare. Like I love all those movies. Like obviously it has its lows, but I just don't why can't they end a movie in Nightmare franchise? They can't seem
Not
to have a
allowed.
good other than Dream Warriors is probably the best ending in a Nightmare movie. Like
Yeah.
I really like going to the Dracula thing, using the crucifix, the holy water. I just like that about that movie. Even number as much as I love number one, I mean, I love it. It's like my second favorite horror film probably of all time. But that Dragon the Mother is just a lousy ending. I just don't.
It's sad to know that that's the ending we've been left with forever, and it's not what Wes Craven wanted, which is just sad.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Did,
just
did,
sad.
do you know how he wanted to end the movie?
I'm not really. No, I don't actually remember how he I have heard the story, but I can't remember.
I Because to me when I watch it, I'm like, okay, even Nancy turning the back on Freddy, I do like that. And maybe when she comes out of the door, and then they
That
just
yeah,
focus on the girls skipping and end it with the nursery rhyme. I think that would have been
yeah.
no, no,
Because
no,
you're actually right.
no clickbait, no
No,
clickbait for another movie. Just
it's everything after she walks out the door is bad. Like the dialogue between her and the mum, terrible. Like
yeah,
the whole like, oh, I just feel so much better. I'm never gonna drink again. Oh, okay. I'm like, what's going on? What is
yeah.
this? I
I
hate
think
that.
that
I hate that.
I've heard theories that at some point Nancy falls asleep, and the whole movie is a dream from that point on.
Yeah. I mean,
I,
you kind of have to do a few backflips in your mind, don't you? Because there's a few bits of logic towards the end where you think, not sure cohesive wise that's working entirely, but
yeah, I don't
it's
know,
still a
but
legendary film. It's a legendary film from the 80s. And it's like that film, though, I feel like if you're ever going to show people 80s horror, I think that's the one to start people off on. That's
oh,
the
yeah, that's
ones
great.
that,
It worked great in the theater too. I saw the sound was so good in the
yeah.
theater. Like when I
Oh,
saw it
man. Yeah,
last
yeah.
year,
Amazing.
when she's
Look forward
coming
to it
out
again.
and he's going like Tina, Tina, and then
Yeah,
he goes
yeah.
Tina. It's like a while because it fills the room
Yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah.
could feel the atmosphere on the big screen. Where and same with the Terminator was really enjoyable too. I wish I could watch all these movies in the theater. Like
Yeah, I mean, that's
or
why it's so good. 'Cause keep an eye out on these showings now because they say it kind of transforms them watching them as they were intended originally. Like they're amazing,
I
you
think
know.
I'm gonna have to get a sound bar from my big TV down. I watch these things with a nice good sound
It does it
again.
justice because obviously
Yeah,
these movies when they were made, like on film and stuff, they were good. And obviously, just like the limitations of tech back in the day meant you could never really see them how they originally looked and sounded. And it's now thanks to great technology, we can take the old reels and separate out the sound and make it bigger and nicer and just make sure you can really feel and hear and see everything. And it's like, wow, these movies, like say in the cinema watching it, like this is an experience, amazing.
yeah, amazing. Well, guys, that's our. I'm gonna wrap it up because I do have to take my son to the park. We're gonna go play some soccer, so
Great.
I'm gonna end it here soon. But before we go, please subscribe to Jack. And Jack, what do you got coming up on your channel?
So in terms of what I've got coming up, I didn't actually have a load of things planned in there at the moment. I am planning to do a little mini series coming up over Halloween next week, where I'm just going to talk about just some of my picks for great horror movies that have come out over the years. Like I've done a top 80s one recently, but I've got a handful of picks, more modern horror films actually from the last 25 years that I think are masterpieces, that I think are some of the best. So I kind of want to offer up another list of horror movies you absolutely have to see. So it's probably going to be another list along those kind of lines. I'm still sort of ironing out what I'm going to do for it at the moment, but I've got a few horror recommendations I'm going to do sort of a list with mini reviews for. So that's probably going to be my next review, and then after that, I'll probably just start maybe a new series or something throughout November. I'll probably do something Guillermo del Toro with Frankenstein coming out and everything. So yeah, just a couple of small things planned at the moment because life's a bit crazy for me. But yeah,
Yeah,
then I'll be back to it.
awesome. Yeah, go check his channel out, guys. He's great. Does a real traditional style review that's really good that I really enjoy. So, um, as far as me, guys, I'm busy as hell. I just recorded my top 10 final guys in horror. I think that was a request from Angela. I'm not sure. A follower of mine. I can't remember who requested that. I have to look back on my post, but I recorded it today. My top 10 final guys in horror will be coming out hopefully next week. And I'm trying to get a Universal Monsters ranking down for you guys, but I'm not sure if it's going to be out by Halloween. I'm gonna try, but if not, it won't be that long after. And then November, we got to get into this Predator stuff, man. So I got a bunch of Predator content to release. I want to try and see Badlands, and I'm probably going to be on other channels discussing this because I'm sure it's going to be someone's going to have something bad to say. I'm sure there's going to be something good to say, but yeah, that's all I really got. I'm always working on something, guys. So I'm gonna try and get some more watch parties in for November. Just do some relaxed watch parties with you guys. We always do Rocky in November too, so I got some Rocky ideas coming up in November as well. That's Rocky month for me. And yeah, so anyways, guys, this was fun, Jack. Thank you for hopping in,
Yeah, thanks for
talking
having me
some
on,
horror
Jason.
with
It's been
me.
great fun. Thank you very
Yep,
much. Been great.
no worries. And yeah, so guys, I'll see you later. So make sure you like, subscribe, check out Jack's channel, all that stuff. I'll see you next time, guys, and I'll see you in the movies. Cheers.